What up? It's your boy Dvrth back at it again from another video, and today we're here to talk about Silent Hill 2 Remake. Now, before I started recording this video, I recorded my reaction to the combat trailer, and I came out of that video feeling like I watched the bastardization of a franchise that I really care about. And because of that, I think that I lost the plot a bit during that video. I think that I could have been a little bit more concise in understanding, I guess. Now, why do I say that? Is because when you see something that you really love get done the way that Silent Hill 2 is being done, you're gonna have an emotional reaction to it. And I think I had more of an emotional reaction to it than anything. So I want to sit down and really just talk about the trailer piece by piece in a way. So because it's a combat trailer, we are going to start with the combat. Now, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not a huge fan, and it's not because of the combat seems too Resident Evil or anything like that. To be honest with you, it does seem more Resident Evil than Silent Hill. And if I'm honest with you, I'm not gonna say that that's okay, but it's understandable, and I expect it to feel a little bit more modernized. Now, what I don't like is the QTEs. Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. I'm gonna comment on one thing that I already don't like. But you know what? Let me give some time. Maybe I'm too early in the game. Damn it. God damn it. God damn it. God fucking damn it. Okay. I tried to give it some time because I was like, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. I haven't even seen it yet. My mind immediately went, this seems like it's gonna have QT. But then I thought to myself, no, you haven't seen it yet. Immediately. Yes. QTEs. Not a big fan of the QTEs. I'm not sure why they added that in there. It's something that takes you out of the immersion of Silent Hill. And with a title like Silent Hill 2, the immersion is very, very important, especially when it comes to combat. I know that the combat in Silent Hill 2, the original, is very janky. The combat in all Silent Hill games are extremely janky. It does not matter which one you play, you will always play janky combat as long as you play Silent Hill. Now, with the remake, I expect them to modernize it, of course, mostly because, hey, new players are going to play this game and they're not going to want to play the old school tank control, bob and weave, you know, on an X and Y axis kind of thing that you get with Silent Hill 2, right? I can understand that. However, the combat does feel a little weird. I'm not sure if it's because of the addition of the QTEs, but from the trailer that I looked at, it seems like they focused a little too much on combat. Now, I for one want Bloober Team to succeed. I would like for them to make a good Silent Hill 2, but my problem with the combat and the way it was portrayed is that they were taking every fight. But if you've played Silent Hill the way that most people play Silent Hill, you know that you don't take every fight. It's a survival horror. It's almost stupid to take every fight. In fact, the point of Silent Hill's combat, at least to me, is not to take the fight, it's to run away. And not run away in the same way that you run away in like Outlast or any run and hide kind of simulator game. It's more of run away to fight another day. And I feel like, as much as I get it, it's a combat trailer, you're going to see a lot of combat in it. Combat doesn't always have to be you putting a gun to the monster's head or beating it with a spiked bat or anything like that. Combat can also be evasion. It can also be, hey, I don't think I should take this fight. There's more to combat than just swinging randomly at every monster that you see. In fact, I feel like it takes away from a bit of how scary Silent Hill 2 was, simply because in the trailer, the player is taking every fight. I get you have to modernize the combat. However, that does not mean that all combat has to be take the fight, take the fight, take the fight. Because if all combat is take the fight, take the fight, take the fight, that's telling me that the amount of ammo that you get is not scarce. That tells me that the damage that any blunt weapon that you get is going to do plenty to dispatch any other monster that you run into, which, once again, is not the point of Silent Hill. So the combat, it's looking shaky. Not a big fan of the QTEs, not a big fan of how the combat is portrayed. Hopefully when the game actually comes out, it's not as action oriented. I don't want to feel like Action Jackson while playing Silent Hill 2. I don't want to feel like I'm playing Chris Redfield. I want to feel like I'm playing a Midwestern white man with mental issues. Now, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the visuals. I can see how some people are put off by the visuals, and I think I kind of understand why. Silent Hill looks very, very clean in this trailer. Now, I understand that it's most likely because, you know, new graphics, the engine that they're using and everything. And when we play, or at least when I played Silent Hill 2, the graphics were bad. You know, it was gritty, it was dirty, mostly because that's just how the graphics were back in the day. So it's understandable for these new graphics, the new technology that we have, to make things look a little bit cleaner, because yeah, the graphics are a little bit cleaner. However, that does not mean that everything has to look like that, right? With new technology, I do believe that we can still achieve that dirty Silent Hill look. Now, I'm hoping that other venues, scenes and stages and levels and stuff like that still have that dirty feeling to it. I still want James to have that same feeling to it, because James seems to just not have a speck of dust on him. He seems to be going through all these trials and tribulations and seems to come out pretty clean on the other end. Now, it's not like James was covered in blood and dust and guts, but once again, the graphics for the PS2 simply lended itself really well to the image that Silent Hill wanted to go for. So I can't exactly be too harsh on that, even though I want to be. I just can't be too harsh on it, because it might just be a thing of, hey, the PS2 just worked really well with Silent Hill 2. So lastly, this is the most important thing for me, the story. Now, me personally, I'm not gonna lie, while reacting to the combat trailer, I seen something that really, really pissed me off. And that's something that pertains to the story, which is there is a very obvious spoiler in the trailer. On the wall, on some random wall, there's a message that says, "Reap what you sow." We're stopping again. I'm sorry. I need to go back just a little bit to see what that said. I'm trying to find the words without being mean, because like I've been on a kick of trying to be a better person. Haha. That shit says, "Reap what you sow." This is a stupid, I mean, I genuinely hope that this is not in the final product. Like, that right there is a spoiler. Now, I haven't played Silent Hill in a while. I haven't had like a full playthrough of Silent Hill in a while. However, I remember the story being a little bit less on the nose than just putting actual writing on the wall saying, "You did it, you did it, you did it." You know, like, if you haven't played Silent Hill 2 and you go into this and you see that, if you have just the slightest, if you just use a little bit of your brain cells, not even a lot, if you just use a little bit of your brain cells, you will see that note, you will see that message on the wall, and you will immediately know how the story ends. For me, and for a lot of people that have played Silent Hill, back in the day, I remember that twist being crazy to me. I remember that twist being like a mind fuck. Of course, there were hints, but they were so subtle. It was the letter from Mary or the picture of Mary not actually being real and not holding any weight or anything like that. It was broken up messages through the radio. It was James ever so slightly sounding like he was worried. It was in the way that he would talk to people. It was in the way that people would react to James. It wasn't a literal bold-faced message written in Sharpie on the wall saying, "James, you did it." That's kind of frustrating to me. That doesn't bode well for the story to me. It makes it feel like the Bloober team went into Silent Hill 2, of course knowing how it ends, and went, how do we incorporate the ending of this game into like the rest of the game itself? How do we make sure that people know that this shit's about to happen? You know, how do we telegraph that to the players? And the answer is that you don't really have to, right? Like, you don't have to telegraph the ending to the players. In fact, the way that it was done in the original is fine. It's fine. Was the wool pulled all over everybody's eyes? Probably not. There's probably some people who knew the ending was really obvious, of course. But to me, literally putting the writing on the walls is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to me. The story itself, honestly, they don't have to do much. When I think about how they can improve on the story, you don't have to do anything really. The story should be the easiest part of creating this game. I would assume that it's pretty much just making sure that the dialogue is correct, making sure that the atmosphere is correct. And if they can do that, then the story's fine. However, with me seeing that little message on the walls, it makes me feel like, no, they're thinking more about modernizing the story itself too. But it doesn't bode well, right? Of course, they can't get the janky voice acting that works fantastic, by the way. If you've played Silent Hill 2, you think that the voice acting is you'd either think that the voice acting is really bad or it's really fucking good, because everybody in that game sounded like they were insane, and not like the cartoonish insane that you see in a lot of games, but like the very real world, this person is not mentally well insane, right? So if they can get that correct, I think that they're fine on the story front. I would hope that instead of focusing on modernizing the story, they focus on the atmosphere, you know, matching the original as best that they can. If you've played Silent Hill 2, you know the final letter, when the letter is read at the end, that is one of the best performances that most people have ever heard in a video game, right? It's heart-wrenching. It puts a cherry on top of the trauma cake that this game has made throughout you playing it. It's perfect. I think those are the things that Bloober team should focus on, rather than modernizing the story, rather than making sure that you have hints to what's happening in the game. Now, going through all this, I came to the conclusion that I want this to work, but it's probably not. And like I said, after sitting down and really thinking about it, I think I've come to a different thought process. I think I have a different take this time. Silent Hill 2 should have died along with Mary. We should, I don't think that this was a good idea. I don't think a remake of Silent Hill 2 was a good idea. Not because I don't have any faith in Bloober team, not because I don't have any faith in any other team that could have tackled this project. It's mostly because they were okay the way that they were. And once they die out, you know, it's fine. You can always go back and play it again. To me, I think that we should have been, instead of worrying about remaking Silent Hill, instead of worrying about having a remake of Silent Hill, I think we should have been putting more effort into things like Silent Hill F or Silent Hill Forte, things that are a little different. Hell, maybe let Silent Hill as a franchise die. Maybe instead of that, we should be looking at making new horror franchises. If you want to take, you know, a couple notes from Silent Hill and make your new horror game feel a little bit more like Silent Hill, then cool. But I don't think we should be reviving this franchise. I think it was fine the way that it was, you know, and maybe that is the Silent Hill fanboy in me talking, but I think that we find good in nostalgia so much that we yearn to bring it back. And I think a lot of companies are seeing that nostalgia sells, and they're not wrong. One of my favorite games on my PC right now is Spyro Reignited. Why did I buy it? Because nostalgia sells. But there's some times where
even if nostalgia does sell, probably best to let it die. And I think Silent Hill 2 is one of those things that just needs to die. And I say all that, but I still want Bloober Team to make a good Silent Hill 2 game. I'm not gonna hate on them. They've made some games that are pretty good. They're okay, right? I believe they made Layers of Fear. I played that way back in the day. I thought it was cool. That type of stuff is something that people should focus more on, even if Layers of Fear and the rest of the games that they made weren't exactly received well. I think that's more impressive than going back to Silent Hill 2 and saying, hey, we're going to make a remake. Some franchises just need to stay dead. Silent Hill may have been one of those franchises. I want Bloober Team to make a good game. I know that a lot of people are angry about the amount of combat in the trailer, but hey, it's a combat trailer. Yeah, I expect that. I know that Bloober Team went on to say that trailer was not them. They said that it was Konami. However, I will say, while I can understand them saying, hey, that was Konami, that trailer doesn't show you the real scope of the game. And I agree, if it was made by Konami, okay, cool, it probably does not show you the full scope of the game, especially since it is a combat trailer. However, that is still the game that you made. What was shown in that trailer is still the game that you still made that. And from what I saw of that trailer, I'm not exactly excited for it. Not really. I think that this will be Silent Hill 2 with a dash of evil within, and maybe new players will enjoy that. You know, maybe new players will go into this game never playing the original Silent Hill and thinking that this was really fucking good. To be honest with you, maybe the game will be really fucking good. I hope it is. But from what I've seen so far, I think that Silent Hill should have just died. But that's just me. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be me talking about more Silent Hill or something totally different, link's going to be in the description for the Discord. We have a whole suggestion box in there. Also, I just really would love people to join the Discord. It's proving to be a better way to not only connect, but also just getting updates out and, you know, fielding what exactly people want to see from me and stuff like that. So if you haven't joined the Discord, I would really appreciate that you did. Also, follow me on my Twitter and Instagram, where I pretty much choose violence every day. So if you want to see somebody argue with people for no fucking reason, hey, join that. So with all that being said, y'all stay amazing, stay safe, and take care of yourselves.